Althea Gibson Darvin is probably one of the outstanding tennis stars of all time. She turned to professional golf in 1963 and has made a good showing for herself. Althea's athletic skill and her marvelous sense of humor have endeared her to both golf fans and the girls on the tour.
Althea Gibson was the first African-American woman to play on the tour.
Ever to win the coveted crown at Wimbledon. 100,000 cheer the 29-year-old New York girl.
Well, Althea won Wimbledon twice, which was extraordinary. And then when she retired from tennis, she decided she wanted to take up professional golf.
Here's former U.S. and Wimbledon tennis champion Althea Gibson Darvin into professional golf now.
And I don't know how she managed. I mean, how she managed even to play professional golf, I don't know. But to manage as an African-American in those days, it really was a very difficult path to tread.
We were playing a tournament in Texas, and they wouldn't allow her in the clubhouse. So Lenny Wirtz was our tournament director, and all of us decided to not play at that course and move someplace else where she would be accepted.
We took care of each other, you know, no matter what. I mean, we didn't believe in that. That's what we were fighting for, was equality as women. In fact, we boycotted 3 tournaments because they wouldn't let Althea change her shoes. She'd had to change her shoes in the car. So finally, there were a couple of places that we did not play because of that. Baton Rouge was one of them, as you can well imagine.
This is indicative of a true champion. Those who can sustain, stay out there, and win championship after championship.
And when Renee Powell came along after her, it was still unbelievably difficult for Renee, and she suffered a lot as well.
I think there were a lot of issues, certainly in our country. We had a lot of racial issues, and I certainly had problems at hotels. I had problems at restaurants. I had problems sometimes just trying to get into the locker room at various clubs. My peers on the tour were like a family. If there was an issue and somebody knew about it, they would always come to my defense.
That's one thing that the LPGA were very proud of. We don't care what color you are or what, you're accepted.
And the LPGA is far more accepting than the PGA ever was.
The struggle of women in this country and the struggle of people of color in the country sort of run parallel, which is something that I've always sort of understood because I've been both. I am both, you know?
You know, when I think about growing up and being Hispanic and being a female, there were times I couldn't play at certain times. And with respect to the men, I think it's, you know, it was definitely a man's world back then.
They were pioneers in the really women's sports, not just golf, but women's sports. I mean, that really was the forerunner of all of women's sports.